Jackie Ballheis from Klumpen Stampers, and I have another fabulous quick and easy card to show you today that uses Designer Series paper, and it will work with any of your papers, but we're going to focus on Nature's Poem. This paper is beautiful, and I just want to kind of remind you, I guess, if you haven't heard about it yet, my paper share is new and improved this year. And for all of the different Designer Series papers, you're going to get either a 4x6 piece or a 6x6 piece, plus the coordinating cardstocks. Now this is really important this year because there's so many new colors. There's a couple new colors in this one. That way when you get your cardstock, you know you're going to have coordinating cardstock. And what I want to show today is a card that simply uses a 4x6 piece of Designer Series paper, which is what most of the papers in the paper share are. So you're going to be able to take any of the prints and use the same idea. So let's go ahead and flip the camera down, and I want to show you the fun card I have for you today. Like I said, we are using a piece of the Nature's Poem Designer Series paper. So this is one side of it, and then we flip it over. And just like almost all the other papers, the back has some really nice, small, neutral prints that you're going to be able to use with anything. Now it is made to coordinate with the Rooted in Nature stamp set, and I'm going to use this today to make a card for you. But don't limit yourself. This paper can absolutely be used with all different stamp sets. So we are going to start with a piece of 4x6. Now this is the size that you will get with 10 of the different packs of Designer Series paper. And I'm going to use this whole 4x6 for the card today by simply tearing it. Now I know, don't gasp. Some people have a fit and are afraid to tear cardstock, but I tore it. And then we're going to actually flip one side over, and we're going to just adhere this to our cardstock. Now it is a little bit bigger than I need. I mean, you could trim a little off if you want. But what I like to do is just take my adhesive, and my bottom piece I'll stick on first because I can line it up on the left and the right and the bottom. Okay, whoops. And it slid on me, but this is the beauty of the liquid adhesive because you can pick it back up and slide it around. So, got that one down. Now I'll take the other piece. Remember, when you use this liquid adhesive, you don't need a lot, okay? You don't want it gooshing or warping your paper. Now here again, we're going to match the top, the left, the bottom, slide it around till it gets to that perfect spot, and then just go ahead and run it down. So let's set that aside. And like I said, we are using the Rooted in Nature stamp set. So we're going to start out using the big, it looks like a slice of wood. I just have a scrap of Whisper White here, and we're going to ink this up with our crumb cake pad because I don't want it too dark. So we'll ink it up really good. And then before I stamp it, I'm going to take my soft suede marker and the big tip of it here, and I'm going to just rub it along the edge. So it'll kind of appear like the bark of the tree. So it's just a smidgen darker out there along the edge. So we'll just kind of run it around here. Get it all the way around, and then we can go ahead and stamp it. Now this stamp set comes in a bundle with a whole bunch of dies. The one die it does not have, though, is for this slice of wood. But it is so super easy to cut out. That doesn't bother me at all. So, but now the key, and I'm going to talk about fussy cutting a little bit more here in a second. When you're cutting, this little snips works really good, okay, because I can get around all these edges. But if you notice, and I don't know, it's kind of hard to maybe pick up on, but my left hand that's holding the paper, that's what's turning the paper. This cutting hand, I'm not really turning this much. It's staying pretty much in the same spot, and then I'm just spinning my paper with my left hand here. Make sure at least personal preference, when I cut things out, I like to leave a little bit of an edge. That way, if you're not trying to cut right on the line, if it's not perfectly even, it doesn't really look like it's not even. But if you try to cut on the line, it's really difficult. And then just because of it being wood, I wanted to make this edge just a little bit darker instead of having that white. So I just took a piece of a stamping sponge, and I'm using the same crumb cake, and I'm just going around in a circle here. This kind of takes that white out of it. So there is our piece of wood. Let's just set that aside. This card really is just going to have quite a few little parts and pieces, but you'll see in a moment how super simple it is. I'm going to grab my Stamparatus. Now, if you haven't watched my series of videos on the Stamparatus, make sure you check that out. One of the things that I do talk about is when you are stamping on colored cardstock. I love to use the Stamparatus because honestly, I never really stamped on colored cardstock before because I didn't think it got a nice, dark, really crisp image. Well, the Stamparatus solves that problem for me. So I just have a scrap of the mint macaron. I'm so excited this cardstock is back. This was in color several years ago. And then we have early espresso, and we're going to just ink up our stamp. Now notice my cardstock is up here in the corner. I'm not using the magnets. I don't always use the magnets, especially if I'm up in the corner like that. But what happens, I don't like it. It's not dark enough. It's not crisp enough for me like it would be if I was stamping on Whisper White or Very Vanilla. So I can just stamp it a couple of times. That's better. I'm going to even do it a third time. Now each time, like I said, there's no magnet, but I make sure I just keep my cardstock up there in the corner and we have no problems whatsoever. And look at how nice and crisp and dark I got that. I mean, totally, just for kicks here. Let me show you. I'm going to ink it up just one time. And we'll stamp down at that end. But look at, there you can see the difference. And this is what we used to end up with, and I didn't like that. But now I'm going to be using a lot more colored cardstock for my greetings, I'll tell you that much. So, like I said, we're going to do a little bit more fussy cutting. I don't know, it seems like I go in crazes, and this has been kind of one of my little crazes lately, is I like to cut out words. Now here again, notice, and I'm going to just trim that off like so. I am turning the cardstock with my left hand, leaving a nice border, and I am not necessarily going exactly right around each letter. Now here where I have a couple letters like that, I'm going to just kind of wiggle it, we'll call it. It does not have to just follow those letters perfectly. Come around that big old D. Now here, we're just going to go back and forth and back and forth. And to the eye, it really appears like you've cut out or, cut around specifically to those letters. So we'll come down this way and then, this W and just wiggle it. That's going to be our word of the day. We're almost done. There we go. There is our You Are Wonderful, which is also from our Rooted Nature stamp set. So let's set that piece aside. Like I said, we've got lots of parts and pieces. Now in the dies, there are these beautiful leaves, and you get an outline one, so if you want to, you could stamp the leaf and cut it out. But what I did for our card is I just cut from Tranquil Tide a large one and a small one. But then there's these dies that are also part of the set. They don't cut out, they simply emboss. So you're going to want to cut it out first, and then you're going to put this right on top of it. And yep, sometimes they feel like they're upside down. And then what I have done, before I run it through my Big Shot, I just have a plate here. I take a piece of washi tape. Washi tape's just kind of one of those tools that I always have sitting by my Big Shot. And I'll take these, line them up really nice, and we'll put them down on the plastic plate here and tape them down so they stay connected. Now you can use the magnetic plate as well, but I still felt like it slid around just a little bit on me. So we'll line them up and we'll put them down there and we'll put the washi tape on. And then we'll go ahead and run that through the Big Shot. And this is what you end up with. Can you see the texture on here? So it looks like a leaf. So we've got our two leaves, we have our You Are Wonderful, we have our slice of wood, and then one other piece that I did ahead of time was I took the words are never enough, and I cut that out as well with my scissors. And then we're just ready to put our card together. So we've already glued that part down. Of course we have to use dimensionals, so let's put some dimensionals on our piece of wood here. And we'll just peel those off. I find these, oops, I got an extra one on there. Oh well, we'll leave it there. I find these little dimensional things everywhere in my house. So we'll go ahead, we'll stick that right there. And then let's put some dimensionals under our leaves. We'll put one on each one here. And we'll put one leaf like so. And the other one, let's see, they don't want to come off. There we go. we'll put the other one like that. And then let's go ahead and put dimensionals under You Are Wonderful. Let's see, so we'll peel. We're using lots of dimensionals. That's okay. These are like a standard order. Every time I place an order, I think I add dimensionals onto it. So there is our You Are Wonderful. And then because this is so little, I'm going to put just a little bit of our adhesive on here. There we go. You know, you can, I don't know if you can see that thin line on there, very little, and it's not going to goosh out at all. And then we're going to just stick that like so. And there is our quick and easy card using a 4x6 piece of designer series paper. Like I said, the idea that I shared here, you can use with any paper. So I hope you like this Rooted in Nature set. I actually have been going a little bit crazy with it and have made quite a few cards. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek of them. I think all of these cards also use that Nature's Poem Designer Series paper. This first one is actually made just like what I just did, except I turned it sideways. So I did tear the paper and it's just kind of opposite there. And I think they all have them. Again, I've been on this kick, like I said, of fussy cutting words. Now, all of these cards you're going to see posted on my blog over the coming months with details. Several of them are also going to be part of my new Stamps in the Mail program. So you'll have an opportunity to get that later on, but I just wanted to give you a sneak peek right now. But primarily, we're concentrating on the Designer Series paper. What do you think? Do you like the Nature's Poem Designer Series paper? I think it's going to be one of my favorites. And you know what? Are you sick of me saying that? I swear I say that all the time, but I'm loving all the new papers. Don't forget, you have until May 31st to reserve your paper share, and you'll get 84 pieces of Designer Series paper, all of them different. Some will be 6x6, some will be 4x6, plus you'll get 84 coordinating colors of cardstock to go with all of the papers. Important with all these new colors we have, so that way you'll know you'll be able to do them. And the card idea I shared you today, you'll be able to do that with any of those. So if you have any questions, make sure to let me know. Or if you're looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be that person. Let me know and I'd be happy to send you a catalog and help you with all of your stamping needs. So until I have another video for you guys, have a stamp happy day.